Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new All of the Above budget movie review. And this time, it's time for something extraordinary, something timeless, and something I always liked. So it's time for the Karate Kid movies. And I loved this as a child, and I still love it as an adult. The first movie, of course, is The Karate Kid, and it shows us Ralph Macchio and Norioki Pat Morita, Morita, yeah, and well, we see a young Elizabeth Shue in there. Um, it's about a boy who moves to a new place and gets in trouble with a local group of kids who go to a big karate school. Um, and well, I don't want to spoil too much, but he finds a man who wants to teach him, played by Pat Moriarty, and Mr. Miyagi. He will teach him karate, um, and it's a nice movie. It's kind of a love story between Ali and the boy, um, and it's also a story of two people finding each other as friends or a mentor and yeah, because Mr. Miyagi is their mentor for the boy. Um, yeah, I love this first movie because it ends in a tournament and it's action, it's humor, it has laughs, it has a tear, and has everything. Um, it is serious when it needs to be, and it's funny when it needs to be, and it's action packed when it needs to be. So it's the perfect best first movie in the series. A few years later, there was a second movie, The Karate Kid Part 2, and that played in the homeland where Mr. Miyagi comes from. Um, and yeah, it's one of the better sequels. Most of the time, when you have sequels, especially in the 80s, the sequels go down in quality as the movies progressed, as more sequels are being made. In this case, the second one was, I even want to dare say, better than the first one because it plays on so many levels. It has a cultural level, because, well, the boy learns the culture of Mr. Miyagi. He falls in love with a native girl and learns from her how it is to live in that society. It's about honor and dishonor and bullying. Bullying is a big part of all movies, but in these two, and the second one, it's bigger. Um, yeah, I loved it, and it all plays in a new surrounding, and it has new influences. So yeah, I think it's one heck of a good sequel. A few years after that, there came a part three, and it's a good movie, but it's yeah, the last one with Ralph Macchio, um, and yeah, it shows us how they trying to open a bonsai shop and how the Cobra Kai people of the first movie trying to take their revenge on him because he won the tournament at the end of part one. And at the beginning of part two, Mr. Miyagi embarrassed their teacher. So the boy, I finally remembered his name, Daniel. And sometimes my brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So sometimes I forget names, but in the end I'll find them or I'll put them down here. But Daniel comes in contact with Cobra Kai, a new sensei who teaches there, a good friend of the one before, Mr. Reese or Sensei Reese. Um, and it's a good movie, but it lacks a bit of direction. The first two were just great, and the third one is well, mm, mm, good, but not great. Um, then there was a fourth part, the next Karate Kid, and it has Pat Morita reprising his role as Mr. Miyagi, and this time he has Shank, who the lovely Hilary Shank, who plays a girl who has a lot of anger issues. She lost her mother, she lost her father, she lives with her aunt, and she's out of control. So, and it's up to Mr. Miyagi to get her more calmly and more give her more rest in her head and teach her karate, and of course, because otherwise it wouldn't be called the next Karate Kid, of course. Yeah, I love the movie. I loved Hilary Swank. It's always a pleasure to see her. And of course, like I said, I'm a big fan of V. Another V alumni, Michael Ironside, plays the bad guy in here. And this final movie has, I think, in that this is, if you watch movies now, it's more like we have girl bosses. We cannot learn from men because men are bad. Um, and in this movie, it's done right. You have the Mr. Miyagi, who's the mentor, who teaches her things, and you see Hillary becoming that strong woman. Um, so there's no there's this yeah bond and this combination that works, and it is. I think if it was remade for a modern audience, Mr. Miyagi would be Mrs. Miyagi, and Hilary Swank, she would already know everything she had to know. Um, but I'm glad it's not that, because otherwise, yeah, it wouldn't be the same, and the message would be totally different. Um, so I loved the next Karate Kid, and I loved those four movies. Years later, when it was still remake fever, um, there was a Karate Kid remake with no karate, just kung fu. So yeah, it's a vehicle for Will Smith to give his son an acting role. Jaden Smith plays Trey Parker, who goes to China. So it's already set in a different continent, and he gets taught by Jackie Chan the art of kung fu. So Karate Kid, I think the title was just called that because we would know the title. They rather had should call it Kung Fu Kid. Um, I don't like the movie. I just have it for yeah um, collection purposes because I wanted the collection complete. But I think maybe sometime I'll just throw it out. Because because I'll stick to the four originals. So if you want to waste your time and look at 134 minutes of time you'll never get back, um, then you should watch this. If you or you have trouble sleeping or what else, maybe try to watch this movie. But if you want to see a good movie, watch the original. So that was my Karate Kid series. I want to thank you for watching. And if you want to give your opinion, because maybe you heard something that you agreed on or didn't agree on, put it down here in the comments. And if you want to like it, like it. And if you want to, yeah, subscribe. And I just want to thank you for watching and see you next time.